Hey, this is Chantal Gerardy from Online Business Marketing, and today I'm going to be sharing with you about email marketing, about how to nurture and how to convert. And there is a crap load that is in today's session, all as a guide for business owners and marketing VAs on how to email market, how to get better results from email marketing, and what you should and shouldn't be doing. There's actually quite a lot of what you should and shouldn't be doing in this today. We're going to talk about how you need to ethically build and warm up your email list, the difference between tags, lists, and segments, automations, and how you can use automations for lead generation, but you can also use automations for internal notifications, for lead nurturing. We'll talk about how to write subject lines, pre-headers, and call to actions, how to structure your emails, how to use ChatGPT responsibly, reading reports, of course, which is so important for making data-driven decisions, and then avoiding like spam triggers and email design mistakes. For example, a lot of people do Canva, like they create their entire email in Canva and then upload it into the email marketing platforms. And we'll just talk about how that might not be the best way to do things. And then understanding the difference between campaigns and newsletters, because everyone says, oh, I'll send out a newsletter. I'll send out a newsletter. Campaigns and newsletters, very different. It's the same as in social media. I always talk about content and campaigns. The one is for like know, like, and trust. The other one is actually its entire purpose is to convert, which is really, really important. So really excited about today because if you go and you listen to all my content, I always talk about the biggest regret that I have in every single business. And I think I was having a massage with somebody recently, and it wasn't in the Philippines. I think it was before I went, and they were like, oh, I want to like, I'm new to social media and I want to go get clients, and I go to these markets and, and I, give them like a shoulder massage and stuff. And I was like, this is a $1 million strategy I'm going to give to you right now. The entire purpose of you being there is to get an email address of somebody who wants your service. Like, the biggest regret I had in all my businesses was not getting email marketing right, because social media on its own and going to events and networking and doing all those wonderful things which are so important, if you just do that without actually capturing the email address, you cannot continue to nurture those people. And right now it is all about those touch points. Most people do not buy the first time they see you. They have to see you multiple times and get a feel for you before they make the decision and go, you know what, I'm now going to buy from this person. For me, in my customer journey, it can be anything from like three months to 5 years. Somebody would have to see my stuff until the timing's right. Now, imagine if I didn't get their email address. Imagine if I didn't nurture them in my emails. I would never have them as clients. I'd constantly be looking for new leads, getting new leads in, but doing nothing with them, not getting those sales. So super really important that we do that. So why is email marketing like, and does it work? Like, why people use it? Because it really annoys me. So many people go, I hate emails. I never check my emails. And I go, if you create a valuable piece of content that person actually wants to read, they will open your email address and they will thank you for that. And they will continue to open that email address. So the whole goal of you email marketing is to push the right thing, like push the qualifiers and get a yes from the right person and literally get a no. You actually want the wrong person to unsubscribe. You want to say, this is for this. This is not for these people. Go and unsubscribe. Now, in the olden days, which was like last year or the year before, people were like, it was all I was going to say a penis size contest, right? It was all like, how big is my email list? It's not about that. It's not about how big it is. It's about how qualified and how good that email list is, how qualified it is, right? And that's the whole thing. So email marketing certainly is not dead. And you just have to look at the people who are doing it right and getting results to know that. And when you do it right and you provide content that your ideal audience actually wants, they will open it. They will love you for it. And that's great. And now you own those people. And those people might change. So for example, with Rachel, she's a location-based business. Location-based business, they might move away. So if she gets unsubscribes, is she going to be sad? Is she going to like throw a little tansy? No, because they've moved away. Of course they're going to unsubscribe. They don't need her service anymore because she's only Gold Coast based. So it is important to look at your, unsubscribes and be objective about it. But the reality is that for me, it's like, good, the trash is taking care of itself. And I'm just going to focus on getting more of the right people in. And I'm going to make sure that I really get to know them and talk to them in their language so that we get a response from them. So the buyer's journey is obviously really important, okay? How we show up on social media has to be the same as how we show up in our emails. They cannot be disconnect. And I cannot tell you how many businesses that I work with where the social media manager and the email marketing people are two different people, and they don't even talk, and they don't even show each other's words, like work and what they're doing, and they're literally running in their own direction. You can understand that there's disconnect, because you might be over here trying to attract giraffes that are yellow with pink spots. And then over here, they're talking about hippopotamuses with like purple stripes. It's complete disconnect, and that's why it doesn't work. So there does need to be connection from where you're getting them from, the lead that you're capturing them, the language you're talking, the key messages, and it needs to follow through. There needs to be relevancy when they come into the emails. If there's any disconnect at all, it's going to be a no. It's going to be a no. So how do we build a system that, delivers consistent leads and sales and aligns with it? Well, firstly, it starts with the attract. We have to go and attract those people. So how do we attract them? We attract them through social media, through our content, through our stories, through our reels, through all our know, like, and trust stuff, but also through our lead captures. So our lead captures might be our book of calls, our bios, our private message us, our contact us form, our pop up on the website, our, all the lead magnets, an event that you might hold, a quiz that you might have, a free resource, a checklist, whatever. You can't just go out and give content. It's absolutely imperative that you also lead capturing while you're there. Even if that is just saying to them, click the link in the bio, download our free resources, subscribe for our weekly content. We just want to make sure that our lead captures are there. So that's the attraction side of it. The second part of it is we have to nurture, because as I mentioned earlier, the reality is that if somebody sees you once and they have a little sticky beak, the reality is that they're going to watch you for a bit and they're going to go, oh, you my people. We've got the lovely Diane who's just jumped in here right now. And I ran into her at the conference in Brisbane, and she was like, I've been stalking you. I've been watching your blogs, your podcasts. I did a sales call. Like, it took a while. Like, it didn't just happen. I think it must have been about 3 months or something before she signed up. But it's important that you get those people and you nurture. And that's why that nurturing is so important. And email marketing is a fabulous way to do that. To send, those value-based emails to continue to build that know, like, and trust and build that credibility. The third part then is obviously to convert. And that means that you've got to be able to present offers at the right time. So many people never actually ever sell in their emails. They give value, they give value, they give value. They do this on social media as well, but they never say, hey, actually, I can help you with that. And do you want to buy from me? Like, they don't do it. And then they wonder why people are just literally just taking their content and absorbing their content and never following through and working with them. And that is because they never actually make a sale. And remember, it's not selling, it's serving. The reality is that if the other person is interested in what you've got on the other side, it is not selling, it is serving them. You are doing them a dishonor by not actually offering them something. So then the conversion part is important. And obviously those call to actions are really important. And there's a great blog on the website, onlinebusinessmarketing.com.au, which is on call to actions, which talks about the language that you use, which is fabulous. The fourth part that you can use for email marketing, and again, this is actually nurturing, is onboarding. Email marketing significantly saves us time when people buy from us, and we can then automate emails to onboard them, to send them a welcome email. For e-commerce businesses, it's to send them their invoices. It's to send them their shipping, their shipping tracking. These are all manual tasks, but you don't have to if you set up your email marketing for nurturing. And of course, customers who get a great experience will buy from you again. So we always have to look at, I always say in my business, I tell my VAs all the time, the reality is we're looking after new leads, but we're looking after our customers as well. Super important. And then the fifth one is to delight them. And that is basically offering them more valuable, offering them some upsells, some, referrals, things like that. We just want to look after the community. And emails are a great way to do that. And we can do that through personalized emails as well. They look personalized, but they are still sent through your email marketing platform. So we are going to talk about that today. So firstly, I just want to say that there's a couple of things. You've got to make sure that you're building your email list ethically. So I'll just say this right now live here, okay? You are not supposed to be taking brochures, business cards, and adding people to your email list. The ethical, right way to do it is that they can, for example, scan a QR code, they can click a button on your website, and they should actually be adding themselves to a list. Okay, and the list should say you have been added to the list. Actually, let me just say this. There's two ways of doing this. This is the way I do it, and I like to do it. We have added you to a list. Please feel free to unsubscribe at any time. I do not like a double opt-in. That means they subscribe and it says, do you want to subscribe? Confirm you want to be subscribed, and they send them another email, and now you've got to wait for them to tick it to agree to do it. That's a double opt-in. I'm not a fan of it because open rates are so bad. So for me, we automatically opt them in and we just say, you have been subscribed. Feel free to unsubscribe at any time. Okay. The second thing is it's really important that you warm people up. So when they come onto your list, you've got to think about what is the next thing that you want them to do. So for example, I do a lot of speaking gigs, and when I do speaking gigs, I always promise them free resources. So then I'm going to send them an email. So we need to do that in a timely way and send them a personal email, even though it's like a bulk email, it's still a personal email. Hey, it was great to meet you at this event. Here's some free resources. Can we help you with anything? And it's more, how can we help you? And a soft little sell of, hey, and if you want to talk more, here it is. But it has to be logical to the other person. So for example, for the e-commerce businesses like Donna, who's got, oh, my bottle's not here, it's over there, who's got the drink bottles, she can send like a personalized email out, go, how did you enjoy our service or anything? Hey, we often find that people might like, this little lid that goes with this drink bottle, just wondering if that's something you'd be interested in. And it looks like it's more like a personal type email than an email marketing type email. As I said, we will talk about it. So it has to be relevant. Relevancy is super important. Relevant to you, relevant to the offer, relevant to the audience, and effective communication to a stranger, because they are strangers, right? So how do you get people onto your email list? As I said, you've got opt-in forms on websites, pop-ups, landing pages, your social profiles, your bios. You've got things like checklists, quizzes, masterclasses, events or guides to use, webinars to use as lead captures. But you do need to make it perfectly clear what they're signing up for. I clicked on a really cute reel this morning. It was like, I don't know, like a Jack Russell driving a motorbike or something. I've got to get Tommy to do that sort of stuff. And when I clicked into the reel, it straight away opened up a WhatsApp thread and automatically said, I'm interested in what you're offering. And I was like, no, I'm not. And suddenly I'm like now in a WhatsApp thread with this person. Like for me, I will never work with that business. Straight away, I get that horrible feeling like I've been tricked, and I'll never do it. So I always think that it should always be very clear what it is. I'd rather say this is only for these people. It's not for these people. Make sure, as I said, that you do have your privacy disclaimers and that you confirm their subscription as well. Please don't buy email lists. The amount of people I know that buy email lists and then are email marketing, and they don't understand why they're either getting into trouble because they're getting reported, because those people never opted in. It's illegal in many regions, but also those lists are not really, they may not be relevant at all. If it was a business, for example, so say, for example, pest control business, and they bought another pest control business, the ethical way would just be to introduce yourself, send an email out to them and ask them to subscribe to yours or let them know what's happening. Because it's like you're having a conversation to something. Social media is social, it's social. Email marketing is social, it needs to be conversational, right? And personable. So let's talk about warming up a cold list. Now, a lot of people freak out about this because obviously, we own OBMHub, and a lot of people are like, oh, why do we have to warm up our list? And I'm like, well, anytime you change to a new email provider, you have to warm up that list. You can't just go in and start mass emailing. So you've got to break it up and send them over a period of time in smaller batches so that you build up the credibility within the email marketing platform before you can start mass sending. So sending things, sending out emails which are high value, so you definitely don't want to be selling when that happens. And you want to be sending out high value emails, let them know what's going on and ask them to reply back, because those are all good indicators which will actually help your credibility grow, increase as well. So let's just talk about like the format of what goes into your email, okay? Like not a template as such, but just the format of what it would be. So firstly, you would normally have a header which would include your brand logo or your name. Please always make sure that you look at everything on a mobile and on a desktop, because most people are on mobiles. And make sure that it's not this big, so that I have to scroll down 5 times before I actually get to see your words. Like, you want to make sure that that your logo's there, but you can get to the content quite easily. You've got your like a pre-header text, so like your short teaser pre-header text, which comes after your subject line. Inside emails, you'd have your little greeting, and you can personalize that greeting. Now, this is really important. This is why in all your opt-ins, you should have a first name and a second name as a required field and separate to just name, because when you go and you add in a personalized greeting, you can go, hey, first name, and it will insert first name. And then you always want an opening hook. So I always talk about the 4-point structure. You always want a hook that qualifies and stops the right person and engages them. The subject line is good for that in an email as well. We then always want to connect with them. We then always want to show credibility and expertise, and then have the call to action. So that 4-point structure for me, it always carries on in blogs, social media, emails, everywhere. You want to make it conversational, so you want to include some sort of a story and some sort of value. I love dot points in an email. There are some people who like long form sort of content, but for me, when I look at it, I'm very conscious of how many line breaks do I have, because I want line breaks. I want the subtle use of emojis. I want a couple of dot points. I want it to be skimmable, because we have skimmable people. I'm a skimmable reader. I skim everything. There are some people who want long form and they want storytelling, but I always make sure that there are those breaks in it so that it's easily digestible. Can somebody consume this? Okay. And that is why sometimes you'll see I write a bit different. Like, I've got my own kind of thing going on. Where I might put like one word on a line and then another word on a line, then I'll have a break, then I'll go dot, 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 dot. And I kind of do that because I want to engage my audience with my words. So I don't just go blah, 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 blah. I look at it and I try to get those little breaks happening. And the number one rule is make sure it doesn't look like ChatGPT wrote it. Okay, number one rule always. You definitely always want to be talking about one thing. So it's always one thing in the email. It really drives me nuts. The old school way of it was newsletters, where it's like, let's do 50,000 things. We're going to do like a recipe, then we're going to do a top tip, then we're going to do a case study, then we're going to do and it's just like a freaking newspaper. Okay. Nowadays we don't consume content like that anymore. We don't. We could, like, if you think about how much stuff is flying at us all the time, we consume content differently. So for me, it's around one theme, because it's easy to build my learn, like, and trust in one theme. And if my call to action is one thing, which is like a button and a hyperlink of words, guess what? Like, we can track that now. I don't have to go, I can say, this is how many people were interested in that thing. But if I've got click here, click there, click here, click there, it makes it all over the place. And obviously people are clicking outside of your email. Now, if you are following me, you'll probably go, but Chantal, what about your meaningful marketing email that you send every Friday? Well, that is our education piece, and that is where we break that rule. And that is because we email market probably about 4 times a week to prospects, and probably only twice a week to our clients. And the reality is that we do a podcast, we do a blog, we do like a masterclass. So we have got so many forms of content that goes out every single week. Like, we can't send that on top of everything else as well. So what we do then is we've got the Meaningful Marketing education sort of newsletter on the Friday, and that has the podcast, the blog, it has everything. So people can go in there, access it, and click off. But guess what? The call to action at the bottom of every blog and every blog, every masterclass, every YouTube video is always lead capture. Book a call, website, lead magnet, always. So even if we're sending them to the blog, to the podcast, at the bottom of the blog, the podcast, the YouTube channel, there's always 3. Book a call for us, it's book a call, it's website, and it is a lead capture, a relevant lead capture, relevant one. So for example, at the end of this one here, we're going to say download our 31 email marketing templates because we're talking about email marketing. And that'll be at the end of this because it's relevant, right? And that's a lead capture for us. To capture an email address, right? And then, of course, at your footer, you're going to have your unsubscribe link, which is important to have, your contact information, your social media links. If you are a location-based business, it might be valuable for you to have that in there as well. And then any disclaimers or any legal things that you need to have as well. All right, so let's talk about these personalized emails. All right, so we send personalized emails, but out to our database. And when we do that, we take away everything that looks like it is an email marketing. So our template for this will be a normal, like if I was to email you personally from my email address, you would have my little email signature there. Instead of having everything that I just told you about, you're now going to have an email signature, so it looks like it's coming straight from me. And it says, hey, Mary, and it's all personal. No logo, no nothing. It's just email signature. And it looks like I'm sending you a personal email. And we do this strategically very, very often if we want to engage our audience, or if we want to follow up on people who've been clicking on content, or if we've just been to an event right now and I want to email those event people and ask them how they're going. It looks like it's coming from me. Okay. So for behavioral segmentation, it works exceptionally well. But we remove everything, all the banners, all the graphics, no photos, nothing. It is like I'm just emailing you on my own, right? Very plain text, right? Now, the next one that we use, which is quite good as a personalized looking email, is called the 9-word email. And it's all about re-engaging leads. So it's actually a thing. It's called the 9-word email. And it's really, really simple. So it's got no banners, it's just got the email signature. It looks like it's going direct to you. And it says, hey, Mary, are you still looking for help with pest control? Hey, Mary, are you still looking for help with finding a VA? And it's called a 9-word email. And that is it. Question mark, Chantal, send. And it's called the 9-word email. Now, again, you can go into ChatGPT and you can say, based on who I am, who my ideal client is, who my audience is, the type of person that I'm going to get to convert and I'm trying to re-engage them, give me some suggestions for 9-word emails. And you can send this to follow up on leads, people who've booked calls, who made inquiries. It is incredibly, incredibly valuable, and people email back all the time. They email you back directly. I go, hey, you still needing help with your marketing strategy? Hey, yeah, Chantal, actually, yeah, I am. Oh, no, not really. Right now, everything's going good. But I've now opened up the line of communication with those people. So the 9-word email in following up with leads, highly recommended. All right, let's talk about tags, lists, and segments, because everybody gets a little bit confused when it comes to this. So I want to explain the purpose of it. And, a lot of people do this differently, but over the years, I've kind of simplified the heck out of it. And I find that this works quite well for myself and my VAs. So for me, lists are always your broad categories, and you want to try and have as few lists as possible, and you want to keep it simple. So for me, we've got our client list because I talk to my clients in one way, and then I've got my leads list or my prospects list or my master list, and then I talk to those leads differently. I'm going to talk to them differently, right? You can understand how that's going to happen. Now, tags are kind of, I call them scars. Every time somebody does a behavior, downloads a lead magnet, books a call, makes an inquiry, replies to an email, anytime they do anything that's worth you knowing about and gives you feedback on how to talk to that customer, they get tags. So I encourage you to have you should have a document, and you should have a tag document, and your document should have all your tags that you use, because this happened to us once. We had, when we were using ActiveCampaign, which was a nightmare to run, that's why we ended up switching over to OBMHub. But when we used it, we had so many tags, and when that VA left, they knew what the tags were, but the new VA didn't. So I do advise you to have tags. So for us, events are really easy. So if we're doing a webinar in August 25, it'll be webinar August 25 in the year 25. That way we know that anybody who comes in, I know is webinar August 25. If I go speak at iGrow, I can go iGrow June 25, and that's a tag, because then I know I can go back in and I can talk to those iGrow people that I met. So tags are, they give you some insight into where you met the person, the behavior that the person took. And then of course, they're still going to be on your leads list, right? And sometimes they might even be in your client list. But generally, I like to have clients, leads as lists, and then tags are the actions. And we don't want to have too many. You just want to kind of think about what is the information or the thing that you need to know in order to be a re-engaged people. And for me, I always want to know the people who are coming to my webinars. So that's important. The people that I meet at events. So that for us is really important. And those that are book calls, so they get a book a call tag. Then if they become a client, so if the book a call becomes a client, we don't worry about it. But if we go in and we look at the book a call, and the book a call is still sitting on the leads list, we know we can follow up that book a call person. Okay. And then of course, when a client becomes a past client, they then are, for those service-based businesses, they then get a past client tag, because then we can email our past clients and ask them if they want to come back, because they might still be on the leads list, but they could be on the past clients list as well. So that is what segments are. Segments are making decisions as to what we're going to do. So if this person does this, but they don't do that, and we want them to do this, then we're going to send them this. We're going to send them this down this pathway, and those are segments. Okay, so campaigns versus newsletters. My guys are going to kind of know this straight away, but campaigns are purpose-driven. They are all about building know, like, and trust towards one specific sales offer, a product launch, or an event promo. And it's all about building know, like, and trust in that one thing, and over a series of emails, getting them to make a decision. So you might even have like a Black Friday campaign. You might have a launch campaign. Right now, we're doing an end of financial year campaign. And newsletters are just regular updates. So it might be, for example, newsletters kind of like my meaningful marketing one we do on a Friday, where it's like, hey, here's some content and stuff we're sending out. But what I really like is the EATS method. Send out an email that educates. Send out an email that is aspiring and future paces them. Send them out an email that tells a story, your story or client's story. And the S is start a conversation. So get them thinking. For those of you who saw, I posted on social media. I think I've got almost 2,000 views already on that one. Every time I post a picture of me in bed and I talk about the myth about laptop lifestyle, it always does so well on social media. So that's why I always do it, because I look at my data and I look at my insights and I see that. So now I create content around that. But that is like starting a conversation. It's like, really, the so-called 4-hour work week and laptop lifestyle, I call BS on it. Like, I call absolute BS on it. So that's what I would do, start a conversation. That's one of my sort of content pillars that I do. So email marketing, you've got 4 different things over there. You can have a soft sell or you can have a hard sell. You never put a soft and a hard in the same one. It's always a soft sell email or a hard sell email. And if you're on my email list, you'll be able to tell. You'll go, a hard sell email is, it is what it is. It's for this person who has this problem. This is what you get, buy now. That's a hard sell email. And a soft sell email is storytelling, a bit of education, Oh, and if you're interested in this, go and have a look over here. It's a soft sell. You just want to make sure that you have a bit of a balance. So we're going to run through this really quickly, but so high converting email content ideas, okay? Call to actions are absolutely paramount. Most people do not get sales online because their call to actions suck, or they don't have them. So it could be book a free strategy call, it could be buy now, grab a free checklist, start your 14-day trial, watch the training replay, secure your spot now, see the pricing options below, get this before it expires, ending soon. They're all call to actions. And as I said, there's a great blog on how to mix those up dependent on what you're getting them to do and based on personality types. So for value-based offers, lead magnets, as I said, you've got your guides, you've got your checklists, cheat sheets, free trainings, webinars, case studies, befores, afters, testimonials, social proof, bonus content for like fast action, VIP access to something new, or members only discounts. Those are all value-based offers. For engagement triggers, so engagement triggers meaning that you're wanting them to reply to your email. So that 9-word email is a engagement trigger. It's hit reply and tell me, what's your biggest struggle with? Do you prefer this or this? Like, email me back and let me know. Doing a survey, asking for feedback, give me a testimonial. Are you still interested? Which is the nine email one. So engagement triggers are pretty cool. So sometimes you'll see me go, hey, email back. I won't actually take them to a link. I'm just like, email back. So sometimes I mix it up and I go, don't just book a call. I don't always go book a call, book a call, book a call. I'm just, hey, email me back if you want more, if you have more questions. I just mix it up a little bit, just make it more personable. Link-worthy inserts. As I said, even though I'm sending them to a link, at the bottom of every link I'm sending them to is going to be the book a call website and lead magnet. So blog articles, YouTube videos, podcast episodes, frequently asked questions, which we're busy putting on. Booking link, or even resource libraries or logins. Psychology triggers. So again, this is kind of call to actions, but it's more around FOMO. So scarcity might be like, oh, there's only 3 spots left. Doors close Friday at 5 p.m. You're probably missing this one simple thing. 1,300 plus business owners are already using this, as featured in this magazine. They're all sort of psychological triggers, which are like, oh, you should be using us too. So let's talk about some visual and formatting enhancers. As I said, emojis. I'm a big fan of any business having sort of 5 branding emojis and then sticking to those emojis and then having a theme. So we tend to use like the green tick for dot points. We also use the black tick, but we've got a couple of emojis that we use. The emojis at the start of a subject line increase your open rates drastically, but remember, they have to be relevant. They need to be relevant. Really, really, really important. The emoji needs to be relevant to that, but also relevant to your brand. Call to actions, make sure that they're visually distinct in an email. I like hyperlinked words and call to action buttons, but I always want hook, connection, and credibility first, because I don't want them clicking off the email until I've completely got them all loved up and smushy. So I always put the links towards the bottom of the email, never put them up at the top. Because I don't want them clicking off. I want them to be loved up before I get them to the page where I want to take their details. Short paragraphs, you can bold certain words as well to make it skimmable. You can insert images and GIFs, but you've got to be careful with how many. And of course, testimonials. I'm a massive fan of putting testimonials at the bottom of our emails. I'd rather have testimonials at the bottom of an email than my little face. So that's really important. So I'm going to talk about this one thing now. It's about Canva and using Canva images in your emails. And for those of you watching on YouTube, if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe. But when you're using, a lot of people will go into Canva and their VAs will go and make the entire newsletter inside Canva because they've got these like really pretty like templates in there. So the reason people do it is because they are really pretty. They seriously are really pretty. They look polished, they match your brand. You could just go in and add new stuff in all the time. They're really easy to design, and they look really, really good. And they're really good to like replicate and duplicate every single time you do an email. And often they could sort of be less intimidating. So less intimidating for the person who's making them. and adding it to the newsletter. But there are downsides, and the downsides are absolutely massive when it comes to Canva. And that is poor deliverability. Any email that has one big massive image is going to have poor deliverability based on one that doesn't have as many images in it, because it gets triggers the spam filters, which is really important to know. The other thing is accessibility issues. So depending on what device you're actually looking at in, often the images do get blocked on various devices, and we find Microsoft is a massive one for blocking things. There's no click tracking inside the image, so we can't go in and actually track what people are clicking because it's an image. It can often not be mobile friendly, or you'll make it mobile friendly and then it'll look absolutely disgusting on a desktop. And they never look personalized. So we spoke about those personalized emails. They look very sort of like, you know, for fashion shops and product-based businesses, they can work. But again, I don't believe it's worth the deliverability issues that are attached to it. So the best practice is, you know, I rather use Canva for the headings and the banners and rather use like small design elements. You rather be writing your actual email content in text rather, so you can track the links and there's more personalization. It's the same on your website. Like, you can't read the images, so you've always got to put words behind the images. So you'd rather have the words there. And then you want to use, like, you know, the normal hybrid layout, which is image, text, button. It's visually appealing and effective. So use Canva to complement your emails, but I don't believe you should be using it to replace the copy. That's just what I don't recommend at all. So let's talk about tracking what matters, and that is now measuring success. So looking at reports, tracking, and cleaning up your email list. The number one thing you want to do when you start an email marketing platform is clean up your list before you add it to a new platform. So for example, with OBMHub, we want them to clean up their list, get rid of the bounce rates, get rid of the like non-subscribers, have an absolutely clean list and put that in, because that's going to improve your deliverability. So you want to keep your lists clean. You then want to be tracking your open rates and your click-through rates. Now guys, open rates and click-through rates are leads. They are happy people who are opening and clicking. And if they're doing that, we need to be paying attention to that. So if you're not looking at your email marketing results, you're literally constantly looking for new leads without looking at the ones that you have right now and nurturing those guys. So I get excited now. When I look at people clicking my links, I'm like, ooh, potential leads. Send them a personalized email. Personalized email. Hey, you still interested in this? Right? So critically important, because we can set up segments, like we could segment those lists, and we can retarget them without paying for ads and nurture those relationships. And I often take them off my promo email list. So we're sending out 4 emails a week. I'll stop those emails. And if I'm sending them like a nurture sequence, I will only put this, and I'll say no promo emails. I don't want them to get any of the promo emails until they finish going through the nurture sequence, because I don't want them to suddenly see my other promotion I'm doing about end of financial year and then this and then this. I only want to talk to them about the one thing that they were interested in. Only the one thing that they were interested in, because I'm now going to close the gap. I'm closing the gap, the buyer's gap, right? Cool. So subject lines are really important, and I hate ChatGPT suggestions for subject lines. Hate them. They're terrible. If anything, make a baby. When you ask them for the subject lines, often I'll take a couple and put them together, but really the first 3 to 5 words are the most important, and ChatGPT does not get this right. And I find them way too long and way too generic. So subject lines are really important. Asking questions can be really good. Teasing a benefit can be really good. Using numbers, like 3 ways to do this. And then, of course, of having your relevant emoji at the beginning, and then brackets work exceptionally well. If we want people to open an email, we put something in a bracket. We'll go action required, your response needed, and brackets. And we don't want to use that all the time, because then you're going to pee people off, but we do want to make sure we're using them. Then, of course, there's the pre-header. So when people see an email, they see subject lines, and then they see the pre-header. Now, if you don't put the pre-header in, some of the email marketing platforms just take your first line. But pre-header is a great opportunity for you to say that, you know, why aren't your emails converting? Let's show you how to fix them. Like, the pre-header is an extension of your subject line, which can evoke curiosity and get them to actually open it up. All right. So with ChatGPT, as I said, you can use ChatGPT to repurpose your blogs, your social media, your blogs, your social media content, your events that you might have done, masterclasses that you've done. You can repurpose your podcasts, all of that content you can take, repurpose it, put into ChatGPT and ask it to make an email. You can use the 4-point structure I spoke about earlier and all the other recommendations that I've done. But the most important thing is always give it the outcome that you're wanting it to achieve. The outcome of this email is to do what? Is to qualify a seven-figure business owner that's looking to expand their virtual assistants or in-house marketing teams. If you don't give ChatGPT the outcome, it's going to be very fluffy. So you want to make sure that you're using ChatGPT responsibly. And of course, you never ever send it looking like it. So you want to remove M dashes and the overuse of emojis. You want to make sure that it looks like you've written it. So email frequency, how often should you send it? Look, it's really up to you. There's the EATS formula that I went over beforehand, which is kind of nice. But you can imagine that if somebody like Rachel, who's a termite and pest control company, and they only need to use her like once a year, they're not going to appreciate 4 to 5 emails a week. They're just not, okay? And there's only so much you can talk about pest control and termites. So she has to do it really thoughtfully around, how often do they actually want to see her? And for her, it might just be seasonally, so quarterly, as the pest controls sort of changes, she can be forefront of mind, offering suggestions as to what's happening right now and what they can do about it. Okay, so that the next time they're ready for their termite and pest control, they go, oh, I'm going to go back to her because she looked after us, when she spoke about the wet season and what we can actually do about the ants right now. She sent out like a care guide for us, so we'll stay with her. So open rates, what is the average? Above 25% is really good, above 25%. Below 15% is not great. So you probably want to look at your open rates. And then, of course, you want to look at day, you want to look at time, and you want to look at your subject line because those are all responsible for open rates. And then for your click-through rates, the average is only 2 to 5%, okay, which is average. So if it's lower than 2%, you need to look at, well, who's on your list and was there enough connection and credibility in your actual email, and was your call to action strong? And again, maybe have a look at that call to action blog that we did. So how do you avoid the spam folder? Well, never use all caps in a subject line and like exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. That doesn't work. Do not overload with images or links. Don't send from free Gmail or Yahoo accounts. Don't use spammy words like buy now or guaranteed. And yeah, don't hide your unsubscribe button inside your emails as well. You do want to make sure that you authenticate your sending domain. You want to use plain text occasionally, and you want to send to people who opted in and regularly engage. So you want to pay attention to those who've opted in and regularly engage. And then get rid of inactive subscribers. So there is this thing where, like, if they have not opened your email or responded or clicked in 3 months, you can send them a personal looking email. And the personal looking email could say, hey, you obviously don't like our content. That's okay. This is who we are. This is what we do. But if you don't like us, that's okay. We're just going to unsubscribe you now. And we can automatically unsubscribe them. Or alternatively, or else they go, no, keep us here, which is great. We've now re-engaged them. Just make sure that the language is perfectly who you are. Okay? And we want them. We want them to bugger off if they're not the right people. CRM automations and internal alerts. So other things that your email can do is it can score your pipeline and your leads. So you can give scores to people based on what they do. So if they click, if they open, if they book a call, like depending on their activity, you can give them different points, and that can go into your CRM. So you can go in there and go, this person's got a high score. I should send them a personalized email. The other thing you can do is set up automations as well, as I said, to re-engage those people, or internal alerts. So for example, when people register for webinars and that, I'm a little bit of a control freak. I love it when I get an internal notification that says, hey, Mary just subscribed for your webinar. I'm like, whoop, whoop. But I'm getting an indication of what's working when and how. Um, cool. Then let's have, so why do you actually have to build your email list? Well, you own that lead. You own the connection. You don't own them on social media. If you lose your profile, like I lost my personal profile for 3 months, I lost this, I think there's about 10,000 people on my thing, right? So really, really important that you own the connection, you build trust over time, that you retarget those engaged leads. Don't forget about them. Don't go keep looking for other ones. Your emails are all about looking after your leads and closing that sales gap and converting them. And it's a great way to do it that's ad-free, which is awesome. Okay, so I'm going to say goodbye then to those of you who are watching on YouTube. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and go across to onlinebusinessmarketing.com.au where you can find our podcast and other free resources. For you to be part of our live audience, you do need to be a paying member, and you can find out about how by booking a call. I'll say goodbye to the YouTube people and hello to my live audience.